Female hormones, taming the dragon. Hello everybody, welcome. Here we are on Signpost for Living with Dr. Kirsten Hunter and my gorgeous Kristen Coggan. Hello my darling.
How are you?
I'm good. Female hormones. Do you like the subtitle?
Yes, I did.
Taming the Dragon?
Yeah.
It just resonates with me.
Mm.
Yeah. What do you think of when I say Taming the Dragon?
I get a vision of a big dragon with the tongue
Fire.
and the fire
breathing.
and the tail whipping around.
And you're on the back and you're just trying to steer it. The harm minimization comes to
I am
mind.
the dragon. That's what I
am the dragon. Yeah. You know, I would really love, this might sound really weird, but this is my imagination, I would really love men to be women for how many months do you think?
Oh, a good 3.
3? It's kind. And to experience what it's like to have the hormonal cycles that happen with the period, cycle, and to find out what it's like to have the premenstrual hormones. And then they would get it. What do you think?
Yep.
There's our solution, right?
There'd be a national PMT day. We'd be entitled to 1 day a month off work.
1 day?
2, 3.
3.
3.
I say 3. Yeah. No, but I think that, we really need to talk about it because this is biologically a real thing and I don't think it's given credibility and I don't think people take it seriously. I don't think they understand there's a genuine skill set needed to manage it. And so everyone's kind of going along blind, feeling guilty for what they're having to deal with and a lack of understanding and compassion around them. Yeah, but can I preface this by saying, obviously, not everyone's the same.
True.
So, some women have PMT, premenstrual tension, so the hormones, estrogen, progesterone, are firing up and cruel, and other women have a pretty easy time, easy street. Mm-hmm. It's not cruel, is it? Not fair, is it?
No, well, possibly not.
Possibly not. It's not fair at all. Some people have a horrible time and others have a pretty good time.
Yes.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, I'm a dragon.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I get older, it seems to get worse too.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. It's because I'm old and tight and cranky.
You're so not at all. You're hilarious and fun. Oh.
But yeah, no, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to understand that, it would be great if people had a baseline so that they could understand, okay, what you're going through is quite typical, or you are on easy street, you've got a pretty good run, or you really do have a big bombing of these hormonal levels and you really do have a crazy dragon to deal with when you're premenstrual. And it would be so great if people could work out where they're at. But I think that hormone levels are a little bit like pain levels. They're so subjective, you can't pin it down, so you don't know where you are relative to others.
And it's not the same all the time.
What have you noticed with that?
I just rolled my eyes. You guys can't see. Because, as we know, I never know what we're going to talk about. So she just springs this on me and I've got no idea. Now we want to talk about my menstrual cycles with the world. Yeah, a couple of days beforehand, I get very agitated and crazy. I can't tolerate fools and
idiots in your mind.
If there's something that I don't say, but because it's nicer to say nothing at all.
So if you're quiet, then I know something's going on.
But then something comes out, that's probably why. It's probably I've got a little bit of premenstrual tension and I just couldn't contain it anymore.
Yeah.
And I've had to say, and I get very touchy, people can offend me very easily. And I need to be conscious that
I feel like I should be sharing here as well. But
yeah, you should.
But this is where I feel like a total idiot here because I feel horrible saying this because I'm one of the lucky ones. I really am.
Once again.
I know. It's true though. Like you asked my husband, you asked John. I'm not. Okay. So I had a hysterectomy last April, and now I'm a superwoman, and
Right.
I can't advocate a happier picture there. That's just one of the highlights of last year. But prior to that, when I did have my period, it would be a level of sensitivity, and it would be a level of emotionality.
Yeah.
And I'd be kind of like, look, I've had enough with the day, I'm disappearing. But I know from talking to a lot of women that in the scale of things, that's pretty mild. I didn't get kind of, aggro or reactive to people so much. I got more vulnerable, quieter, more sensitive.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I guess would be me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would be, for me, it was probably a day and a half, interestingly. Not a day and a half. Yeah. How about you?
It can vary, but that might be my... Look, I'm not saying I'm an old duck, which I am. But
So not.
But I'm at a stage of life where things are changing, so it's different. It can be different from month to month.
Yeah, that's true.
For me at the moment. Some are good, some not so good. But generally I have to just take my time and just pace myself, recognise that things could be a little bit crazy for the next day or so. I'm about 3 days, I reckon. I'm a little bit nuts.
Yeah, it's tough.
Less tolerant. And I get a headache too, so that I think...
Do you?
Yeah. So it's just in the back of my head
Is
all
that
the time.
a thing?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Do you know this?
Yeah. Well, it is for me.
Well, I believe you. I just haven't
And
heard
sometimes I don't even put two and two together. So I'll say to my husband, "Oh, geez, I've got a headache." And he'll go, "Yeah, well, it's probably that time of the month." "Oh, yeah, thanks for that." Like, he's worked it out. Obviously, he knows me. You should be having him in the seat for the
Let's do
podcast
that.
about what my cycle's like.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So what does he do? He probably keeps to himself and very quiet and just takes himself away.
But, you used the key word there. You said recognise.
Yeah.
That's the key. If you're obscenely tired...
Yeah.
You're able to say, okay, I'm extremely tired. I've got no patience. I'm irritable. I've got no energy. I've got no sense of humour. I need to just take myself to bed.
Yes.
And you know that you're not quality to deal with whatever, and you go and hopefully take yourself away. And I think it's that same parallel. It's saying, okay, I recognise that I'm feeling volatile with my emotion. Things that are normally a 2 out of 10, they're an 8 out of 10. And I'm taking things deep. I'm feeling things deep.
Yeah.
And I have probably not very good problem-solving skills right now. I'm just wanting to bite your head off a bit.
Yeah.
Would that be right?
Yeah.
Why do we do that? Why do you think we're going to bite your head off when I think it's agitation?
Yeah, it's
aggravation?
agitated. Yeah, you just can't. Everything's just... I don't even know how to explain it, but it's agitation and you're constantly agitated and it just... Something small that would normally not even be an issue can be the thing that really sets you off.
And if you were to pause that topic for a day, 2, 3, depending, it's like, no drama.
Yeah, no problems.
We're good.
Talk to me again in 3 days. I'll be good on this.
Yeah, it's almost like we need to pause ourselves for a bit. Recognise.
So you're managing that. You're managing that for that period of time, and that becomes
Taming the
exhausting.
Dragon.
Yeah, and that becomes a little bit exhausting too.
Yeah, and meanwhile, while you're not wanting to take it out on others and do harm to others, you're your own company, which is not fun.
No.
So during that time, do you do things to go and take time out for yourself? Personally, I feel like I'm talking like it's historical. It was only last April, but I would just do a lot of quiet time. I would do a lot of, go have a hot shower, go to bed early.
Yep, go to bed early. That's my thing.
Netflix. Probably don't try to do any deep decision making because I'm not my normal capable self.
And I actually physically can't, like if I was, normally if I could go for a 3K walk in 15 minutes, I can't go that hard and that fast in that time too. Physically, I've got to slow things down a bit. Yeah,
that's a really interesting point because a lot of women describe that that's a period of time where their body is saying rest.
Yeah, I just don't,
Yeah, you're going through a huge amount of energy in what you're doing, having a spring clean and all. And so It's true. So, you know, a lot of people say that, you know, they take time out for the gym in that period of time. They rest more. They don't do as much physical labour. I don't know what it would be like for people who have physically, you know, active jobs. That would be a bit tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it's funny because I recognise now what it is, and I take the time out and give myself a bit of a break, go to bed early, all that stuff that we were talking about. But I was brought up that you don't let it affect your life.
Well, isn't that
you get on with it?
Yeah. Isn't that a fascinating question? Because I was about to say that because, you know, men can shoot themselves in the foot and say, oh, look, it's just her PMT. And it's...
God help any man who says that when I'm actually there. I would slap them.
Well, you know, men can't really win there, can they? The woman can say, I'm feeling vulnerable right now. I need to take some time for myself, right? My hormones are
That's a nice way of putting it.
Whereas if the men say, look, you know, you've just got PMT, one, she might not. That might just be because she has a different opinion and she's annoyed at him. But two, if she does legitimately, that's just going to piss her off really bad. But what if he's right? Like, how can men win here? Right? So how do men negotiate the dragon? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't care. No, sorry.
Well, it's half the population we're talking about here. I don't know. I just think that women are sensitive to feeling that their thoughts and their feelings are not valid with like this.
Yeah, it must be horrendous. Like if
you know, one just like, you know, one wipeout comment of its PMT.
Yeah. So how to do that? Yeah, it must be a minefield to navigate. So currently right now I'm thinking of my work colleague. Poor bugger.
Yeah. What?
And just having to work with someone, but it's like that's in that stage.
Yeah.
Because I don't go and say, hey, dude, I'm PMTing for the next 3 days, so just take it easy on me.
No. What do you do?
Probably just get a little bit touchy, a little bit, stand my ground a bit more, or just avoid him completely, or something. I don't know, poor bugger. Like, and he probably just goes, oh yeah, he probably works it out. He's got a wife.
And it's also very personal, right? You
he doesn't want to know.
That's where I'm at in my cycle.
Doesn't want
That's a bit too much information. Can you just say, you know, I'm just not feeling great, or I'm just feeling a bit tired, or I'm a bit under the weather, and whether they notice it's monthly or not is another question. Can you
probably can, yeah.
Can you call it with some sort of...
I just try and mask it and just do what I do the best way I can, hoping that I'm not offending anyone throughout my day.
Well, I don't have the answer for men. I really don't. I think it's a case of if the woman's saying, okay, it really, you know, pisses me off that you don't take the rubbish out without me asking you. He can't say, well, that's PMT, that's nothing. It might actually be a legitimate issue. It's just she's caring to say something that day, and normally she'd be more kind of easygoing. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't think that what she's saying is not a valid issue. She just might be a bit more assertive. Do you think?
I read an article once that was about this sort of thing, and I can't remember if it was a doctor who wrote it or what her qualifications were, but she was just saying how she was of the belief that when women are hormonal, they're just saying the things that they normally suppress, and they just do not have the ability to suppress it anymore. When
alcohol?
You've got PMT.
Bring down the inhibition.
Yeah, exactly. And you just let it go.
Yeah.
You lose an ability to contain stuff. That
your inhibitions go down, and you're just more vocal and forward. I think that actually could be very true.
Well, that kind of rang true with me. It was a little bit of...
Yeah, that's interesting.
Makes sense to me, but that's...
You might also be in a really hormonal irritated mood and you go hunting for something to be picking on.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
Right, so maybe a bit of both.
Who knows?
Or maybe we should all do what I did and go have hysterectomies, and then you're superwoman. You don't have these female dramas anymore.
Yes.
Happy days.
Happy days.
Honestly, I'm the biggest salesperson. Like, my energy levels have been amazing since.
Well, they have actually. I have been watching you.
Yeah.
Last April.
last April. And as I've told you, I wrote a book in 2.5 weeks while I was in bed rest. And the joke is I need another 3 hysterectomies for the next 3 bills.
Do you remember when you had it and you were on bed rest? I was actually going to come and see you, but you were too busy
I
doing your
remember.
shit.
Did I? What did I say? I'm too much having fun.
Yeah. You're like, no, I'm writing books. And then you slotted me into a space that I could come and see you. And then that didn't work because you then decided to organise your insurance instead of that. So you had to organise all your insurances and things. Do you remember that?
That wasn't fun.
So I was coming to see you, and then that happened.
Took all day.
And then
I was changing insurance to something. It took all day.
Yeah. It took you forever. So you were very productive while you were on bed rest.
I was a machine. I was fantastic. Yeah, and I had a great time. Seriously, I know a lot of people do actually have some issues afterwards with recovering and everything, but no, I was zinging. I was seriously zinging. I was having a great time. People were saying to me, at the end of the last year, what were your highlights? And I'm like, hysterectomy.
Well, it just shows how you weren't that well before it.
I was shocking.
Yeah.
I had systemic, just unwellness, sickness. And, we went to the beach. I couldn't walk on the beach. I was so unwell. And that's just the opposite of my personality. I'm a little bit hyperactive normally.
Yeah.
So let's go to quickly jump over.
Yeah.
So have you ever heard of premenstrual dysphoric disorder?
No.
Okay. So in the diagnostic manual, we have this condition. And basically what it means is people who have PMT, but during that period of time, they just really become excessively altered. So their whole framework changes. So they become very, very altered in their person. So their level of dark mood is black. Their level of agitation is extreme. It's not so much anxiety per se. It's more of a depressive period and an agitation. And their husbands say, I don't know who you are anymore. You're a different person. And, with the previous diagnostic manual, we didn't know what this was, and now we do. And we kind of say, actually, there's people who have their hormones who are that extreme that it's like wrestling with this, just absolute wave of irrational, very depressive thinking and enraged state. And they can do a lot of damage to their partners. They don't function well at work and with their children, because they're just really overwhelmed. It's not PMT, it's very, very, very marked. And interestingly, the response to that is antidepressants, because it is a neurological issue. It's not. It's quite extreme. So, they basically jump on the antidepressants, and whether they take it just in a premenstrual kind of time frame or they take it routinely, and then they stabilise and they're good to go. So, yeah, that's a good thing for people to know. I have people come in and they say, look, I have PMT where I become a different person. And I'm like, well, actually you don't. This is another condition. Let's go sort this out.
Wow.
Yeah, so everybody, if that's going on, it's a medical issue. It's not you. It is possible to manage that in your cognitive skills, so your capacity to monitor what you're thinking and to be able to ground yourself and rationalise and do spectacular emotional regulation. It is possible, but really tough. Really, really tough. And you need help. You really need help. And I very rarely say to people, go straight to antidepressants. On this occasion I would, because it's your body. It's your body smashing you around. So not many people know about that one.
Well, now they do.
They do now. Yeah, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, everybody.
Wow.
Yeah. Fun times. Fun times.
Isn't it?
It is.
What's the male equivalent? Is there one?
Oh, men have lots of problems, don't they? I don't know. I'm not male. But I don't know. There's another debate. Hey,
There's another podcast.
Who has it toughest? No, honestly, there you go.
I wasn't trying to do the who's got it the toughest, but there's usually yin and yang, isn't there? Like there's.
Well, men have issues with regard to their testosterone and their ability to, regulate that when they're fired up and they're reactive, and that's not all men. And there's degrees of testosterone, and men can actually be lacking in testosterone, and that causes a whole spectrum of a whole lot of other issues. So, whatever is amazing about your body goes wrong, and the female bits go wrong and the male bits go wrong.
So it's just hormones are such
tricky buggers.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I was never brought up that was an issue.
Well, we don't talk about it, do we? Well, we are now. Yeah.
Well, we seem to talk about everything.
And you don't
Just
even
a little
know
bit
it.
scared what you're going to bring out next.
But it keeps it fresh, right?
Yes, it does. It's fun.
Well, thank you so much for coming,
All
everyone.
right.
Thanks for joining us. That is so great. And as we're talking, we've got the books, the 6
books are out.
signposts for living coming out. No, they're here.
No, they're here. They're not coming
here.
out. They are here, people.
They're on
Amazon. Where
all the
else?
platforms.
All the
ebook,
platforms.
Audiobooks.
Ebooks.
Audiobooks are very popular, did you know?
I listen to audiobooks all the time.
And I read them out for the audiobooks. You do know that,
Oh,
right?
yeah, people do the audiobooks. So much blood, sweat, and
Get
tears
to
went
listen
into
to
that.
me. Get to listen to
Yeah.
me more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got ready, control your consciousness, understanding myself,
Awake to now.
mindfulness and state of flow, understanding others, loved ones to tricky ones. We've got parenting, and then we've got nailing being an adult.
That is it.
I get
6
double stars
books.
for that.
Yes,
6
you do.
books covering 205 psychological areas because I don't like keeping all this good stuff. I want to share it.
Right. Now
Where can-
I'll share the good bit. So,
You do that.
Okay, so if you want to know more,
I'll be quiet.
you can go to Kirsten's webpage, kirstenhunterauthor.com, and Facebook and Instagram, she's Kirsten Hunter Author, and at Twitter, she's Kirsten Hunter AU. Her YouTube channel is Psych in Your Car, and the podcast that you've been listening to is Signposts for Living with Dr. Kirsten Hunter.
Thank you, darling.
No
and jump on
problems.
if you've got any comments and subscribe. Apparently, that's something that's
Yeah, give us stars. Isn't that the thing? You've got to,
there?
give us a review or something.
Do something.
Only if it's good.
See you, everyone.
Bye.